Kia ora from Aotearoa and welcome to this super full moon Guardians of Gaia gathering, a place where guardians gather in circle from around the globe every new and full moon to share what is moving through the cosmos and the personal planetary field. And often there are an enormous amount of codes that come through that support our embodiment and evolution along the way. And occasionally we get conscious understanding of what that's all about too. So welcome to joining us, those of you who have joined in person today and those who are joining with the replay. Let us begin by coming through the holographic alignment together, aligning physical, mental, and emotional bodies with all-pervading soul or higher self and monadic galactic self. Activating the Earth Star 1 foot, half a meter beneath the feet and connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary body. The Rios de Luz, light, agua, water, fuego, fire, and oro, crystal, mineral kingdom, and inviting those primordial elements up through our pillar to cleanse, clear, and purify, regenerate, rejuvenate, and reorientate. All the way up to the soul star, 1 foot, half a meter above the head, and inviting our celestial nature down, integrating into our terrestrial nature. Surrendering through the core of source and the crystal heart of Gaia. And softening into that space, relaxing into the pelvis, really arriving into our bodies, into this present moment. And what wishes to emerge through our shared unity today. Surrendering through the core of source in our own heart spaces. Through the heart of the sun and the great central suns. Through the heart of the moon and through the heart of Gaia. Our ancient moon, part of which is embedded in the African continent. And we're also being asked to connect through to the Kalahari sand today, the Son, one of the oldest extraterrestrial races on our earth that hold the key codes of creation through their trance dance. Connecting through to Tsudilo Hills in Botswana and the Serpent Mound there. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we strengthen and fortify our own unique pillar. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we strengthen and fortify our own unique pillar on the place on the planet where we stand and honoring the guardians of the seen and the unseen realms. And inhaling, exhaling with sound as we connect around and through the planetary body for our journey today. under this super full moon, when the tides are high, when emotions are high. That's effectively in sidereal Vedic astrology in Taurus today, and in Western astrology in Gemini. And maintaining the harmony that we share as I pass you over to Casey.
Thank you, everyone, for choosing to be with us today. We will stay in this connection field and expand out our circle a little bit further as we reach out to the furthest reaches of the universal fields, allowing streams of data to come in that is more accessible through the group field. Accessing all of the soul memory banks that we each carry and bringing forth those memories which we each are able to tap into. As we are connected to Source, we can tap into all things. What wishes to be present at this time as we step closer to the galactic alignment that is happening on the 21st. As our sun and earth come into alignment with the galactic center, there is a shuffling taking place at this time. The galactic records are being reorganized, cleansed, purified. As this is an important part of allowing more of our galactic aspects to drop in line when there is a pure connection, when the distortion is removed and the records are brought back to the original state. The data banks are being cleared at this time, allowing for that connection point through the galactic alignment to take place and allow the steps to go forward from that point. We welcome into the field our dragon tribes at this time. They wish to be present in the circle today. We welcome into the field the specific continents of Earth, where we are each connected at this time. We welcome in the records and the data banks of the Earth fields, of the inner Earth records specifically. The records that need to be amended. The ones that have been stored away in protection. The ones that are in the ice, in the rock beds, down to the crystal core. Coming into purification at this time. We welcome in the galactic teams that are a part of this process of amending the Earth's records. And we welcome into the field the intergalactic, interstellar visitors that we have accompanying us at this time. They carry their own records. And they are witness to the Earth's records as well. Welcoming into the field the expanded consciousness of our galactic visitors. The ones that they call comets. Understanding that they are part of a bigger fleet. Each orientating from their own galactic base. We welcome into the field the serpent tribes at this time as well. They're showing connection to the Kalahari sand, the ancient ones, the ones who have walked the earth before most of us can remember. We welcome back into the field the creation period of Earth. When she stepped into her own creation, when she first welcomed in galactic visitors, and she was once the garden planet, holding this vision of what we're stepping back into as we amend the records, as we amend the timelines, as we perfect the field. We wish to hold this expanded consciousness as we step back into circle, welcoming everyone to take a part, to take a place, to share information, to be a part of the puzzle, allowing information to come through the field in the unified way. When you are ready, we encourage you to take a deep breath, open your eyes, and come in fully.
Thank you, Casey. And thank you for the reminder. During my morning practice this morning, the galactics were very present today. And I'd forgotten about that after I dived into my morning day's work. But I also feel to share an interesting experience that I had just a couple of days ago. I was working with a body worker I hadn't worked with before up here in Titai Tokurau in the far north of Aotearoa. Through a therapy referred to as contact care, which was founded here in Aotearoa by a farmer. When he was a child, he used to go out and touch different points on the animals' bodies if they were having trouble, and he would reconnect their alignment, and off they'd go and do their thing. And he now works with people, and people he trains works with animals as well. So it's an extraordinary therapy that goes into the memory of the bones. When we look at our planet, we look at the stones and the bones as crystalline memory keepers, and our bones are our memory keepers too. So we can actually go into the memory of the bone and through the intelligence of the body unwind the story or any trapped emotions or anything that's in there. So we had a very interactive 1-hour journey with my system. And then we had a conversation, and it came up in the conversation about our extraterrestrial nature and human form. And we were talking about the children and what they're coming through with. And out of this, the conversation, for some reason, emerged the logo of the UN. I'm like, what's this about? And we were discussing the interface or the mirror of the logo of the UN over Agatha, which is our inner earth, and how similar the UN logo is to Agatha. So I actually, when I got home, I did some investigation, and at first, which I hadn't done before I had this session, I hadn't cleared my archives with the soul I was working with. So when I cleared it with him, we had nothing. We had quite a few lifetimes on the planet, but they're all clear. But there was one off-planetary timeline that I had to go and investigate. And it's when we were working from Lyra with the feline races, and we had our consciousness, along with many other of the feline races, locked within the planetary body. So the consciousness of that timeline had to be released so our consciousness could be released out of that lockdown, and many others. But then I also started looking at the logo of the UN. And the reason I looked into it is because many years ago, probably at least 15 years ago now, when we were walking through London, we found ourselves outside of Buckingham Palace. And if you look at the logo of the royal family on Buckingham Palace, you see a lion and a unicorn. The lion representing courage and the big heart, and the unicorn magic. And both of them have got collars on and are chained down. And we actually had to unwind and unbind the sorcery of that exists within that logo. So when I delved into the UN logo, which this particular logo has been in existence since after World War II to support peace on the planet, what I found was actually a net that was the mind control on the planetary, on humanity through the UN logo, which was really interesting. So a bit earlier this afternoon, I just did a dive in to see the origins of it and where it was created from and who formulated it. And it was actually formulated by the OSS, which was the former CIA. So it was a fascinating journey, all in a day with a body worker. So I just felt to bring that awareness into the field, because we're going into Agatha now, and as Casey mentioned, the records of our inner earth, and it's time for a rewrite. So on that note, opening the field for other contributions to what's unfolding and what wishes to unfold through our gathering today. Or has that been enough to silence the stage? There's a bigger story at play, and not to get attached to the story, for we're here to rewrite it and write the new story. But to do that, we must walk with awareness. And what's very useful for that is what we explore through mastery and multidimensionality, the different archetypes that give us different perceptual states of awareness. The serpent, such a mama, mother serpent, sweet belly upon the earth, the one who sees everything is as it is. So that is the part of us that perceives everything in this 3D reality as it is. Then we have Otorongo, mother, sister, jaguar. You have seen the coming and going of galaxies, and you who walk that rainbow ridge between the worlds, who sees everything is not as it is. So this opens our perceptual state of awareness to what lies beyond, what's really informing the field in our day-to-day reality. Because only by knowing what's going on and what's not going on, what's informing us from the subconscious and unconscious, are we able to move into hummingbird, Siraginti royal hummingbird, grandmothers, grandfathers, ancient ones, the one who sips the sweet nectar in this journey called life and can view the bigger picture from stillness and motion. And from there, from that stillness and motion, if this has happened before, how do we interact differently to rewrite this? And what can we dream into being instead? So into great eagle condor, the visionary, where we're dreaming our world into being. So as we engage, as we recalibrate into our multidimensionality, it's important that we can engage in reality through these different perceptual states of awareness simultaneously while we're walking this earth. And we'll find where serpent and jaguar are our physical and mental and emotional bodies are very present. When we come up to Siraginti, royal hummingbird, and the eagle, we can step from the personal more into the transpersonal, and what is going on, and what are we really creating here, and what do we want to create. And it's really important at this time to choose what we're focusing our consciousness on and what we are creating.
There's a connection happening also outside of the Earth records, but with the dragon records, the records of the dragon, the lineage. But it doesn't feel like it's on planet. It feels like it's off planet. And somehow there's a tie into the space that we're stepping into now as the 13th zodiac sign of Ophiuchus, which is the serpent bear, but is also the mother dragon energy. And that was part of our time and space that was taken away from the humans. Also, that dragon connection that was removed.
This is interesting. It's just reminded me a couple of things on my research about the UN symbol today. The UN symbol looks at our planet from the top, from the North Pole, down onto the planet. And it doesn't include Antarctica on the map that's spread out. And there was another piece to it that wanted to be shared. And it left Argentina off the map because of the relationship the Germans had with Argentina. And a lot of them left Germany and escaped to Argentina before they got caught. And that was the other part of it, how it was aligned with Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah. Thank you, Ariel, Renee, for showing us that.
It's like a picture of the globe, but it's a gridded globe.
Yeah. So the work that had to be done was to remove the grid that was placed over humanity in the name of peace.
And is there a location placed on the human body that's also connected to that?
Of course, we're coming to the Atlas and Axis. Yeah. Wow. Feeling Surette may have something to contribute here.
As soon as you said Buckingham Palace, and we're talking about the globe, there's this symbolism of the royal family. With a staff and the globe on top of it, with a cross on top of it. And all of that, the royal symbolism of the capturing of the royal bloodline of humanity and perceived power over commoners. And I remember when the crown was given from the Queen to the King, that as I was witnessing that experience, I saw from my expanded awareness how all of that consciousness that was trapped in all those royal symbols has started to leave those symbols. And then also how the church was used as a place to ground the gnosis thereof. Mirroring out to others that we have the power indeed. Yet there was a consciousness that started to be freed there. Is what I just saw, is all of that started to move out by the gnosis and the witnessing of it. And it feels like there's something still left. Because as as the crown was given over, and all of those royal symbols went, they actually place it down. It goes into the earth and it gets locked up there. And it feels like, although I viewed it there, there's other keys that needs to be unlocked still there. That is capturing the royal bloodline. That can't be unlocked only by one. There's other keys that needs to be unlocked, and it feels like I just felt a great support of galactics coming in. So there is a greater awareness of that being so. But it is something that needed to be viewed and expressed and witnessed and become a co-creation of how support looks like when we are together, and be a witness to not only that royal family, but all other royal families ever linked to that. And for some reason, I'm hearing 12. So there's 12 royal lines that also need to be removed before the original placement of that very capturing can be removed. And for some reason, we are 12 people. Is that what I'm hearing on the message? So it feels like perhaps each one of us has some or other code that together is unlocking, can unlock. There's a greater key that is needed. So what I'm hearing in the moment is the 12 keys need to unlock.
And two things need to be cleared before they can.
Mm.
It feels. And one of the clearing is out of Antarctica. It is, it's like and then the other's out of the North Pole. It's quite interesting. So that was why we're looking at the map from the North Pole down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and we need to go down to Antarctica to start looking up.
Okay, so Giovanni, did you have something you needed to share before we go there? Or do we
I'm
need
just
to go
holding
there
it.
first?
Just go there.
Okay, so let's just complete this and then we'll come back to you. Thank you. Okay, so if we bring our awareness down to Antarctica, and we'll clear the interference down there first. There's 4 galactics, 2 by 2. It's clear down in Antarctica. So if we come from there up to the North Pole, which is at the center of the UN map, and there's 2 by 2 out of here as well. So first 2. And as we clear that out of the top, I'm looking at what it's doing is opening the gateways, reopening the gateways to Agatha, is what it's doing. Wow.
Yeah. And I'm seeing the 2 main meridian lines starting to flow from Antarctica up. There's a flow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, the energy is literally moving from my toes into my feet, through my legs, into my hips, up the spine, up to the crown. And it's literally seeing the removal of the artificial crown. And something about opening into a stellar consciousness that is starting to align into the galactic core.
A galactic gnosis. And knowing that as we're working with the planetary body, this is happening also to our own bodies if we're open to receive the restructuring, the upgrade, the opening. Wow.
And it feels like a moment also to share yesterday Chanel and I and Christy meet, and we went into the King's chamber, and then the Queen's chamber came in. I'm just very aware of the words used, King and Queen chambers. And as we went there to the center for realignment to occur, we were taken into the whale consciousness who's wishing to return, but they couldn't come through into. And it feels like what we've just done has also opened for them to come into and return to. As just yesterday morning, it came to my awareness that here where I stay is the main song line that is sending out signals to the whales to return. And we did some clearing around all the consciousness on many levels and layers of what has happened to the whale consciousness over different epochs, and how their song lines were distorted, and therefore they couldn't orientate themselves to return to receive the signal. And there was a sound recalibration that has occurred, but it feels like it needs to land here, and it feels like it's got something to do with what we just did.
It is, and this is the bit that we touched on when we met for tea, was that bit on the whale songlines and why they're beaching, and with their navigation system. This is what feels like it was what was interfering with their navigation system. Because in their purity and infinite potential, they can recalibrate directly with things moving directly, recalibrating on the planetary body, for they are one with. Or their oneness, their integration of that with the planetary body has been restored in the process. Wow.
The songlines of the whales do not start on planet, though. It's that reconnection to their original galactic gateways that were opened up. Like I'm watching the connections back out to Sirius B, which I am connected to with those specific whale tribes. And so that 12 families, or the 12 royal houses you were talking about, it's not a human connection, it's the galactic houses that are coming back. Those are the keys that each one of us carries in this group, that they're all different.
And just before you spoke, I saw all those crystalline whales in the galaxy. Mm.
If you tap into the whales around Talia, they feel very different than the whales that I'm connected to. Each a different star race.
How are your whales going, Talia? It's really interesting. We've got Renee and Chanel here from Bali, and just this morning I saw that there were whales sighted off Lavina. And everyone goes up to Lavina to see dolphins, but not many people see whales up there. And there were 2 whales up there just recently in North Bali.
It actually feels important to mention here as well, in connection with obviously everything that we're talking about, and also the work that was done yesterday with Saret, is that while I was here in Bali, I went for this sound healing where it was a gong-based sound healing. So they spent about half an hour just on the gongs, and there were these deep whale frequencies that came through, and they were baby whales. And it was this deep separation between the mother whale and the baby whale, and this kind of pain of separation, of them not being able to find each other and recalibrate because of this distortion that existed in the song lines. And it was the baby whales that came through really strongly in this sound journey here in Bali. And with the connection yesterday with Saret and Christy, and the recalibration that was done, we literally saw the separation kind of dissolve, and the baby whale and the mother whale or whales return as one. So that was really beautiful to witness.
Thank you.
And what I'm hearing is, as the babies was able to hear the signals of the mother singing and the babies hearing the songs being sung. The same for the human race. The great cosmic mother singing her song for all to attune to and listen to, and to remember that it couldn't be heard because the signals were distorted. But as we are reconnecting back and remembering that it is about listening to our internal signals and our connection to the return to our cosmic mother and father, and opening into that gnosis that all that was and all the stories ever told is, some of them are distorted and others are the very truth. Because as you were speaking about the Kalahari, what I saw in that moment is one great book of the cosmos and of creation. And out of the book came all different books. And some of the books, there was emanations of sand that was coming up, and from the other books, there was emanations of light coming out. And as I looked at it, I just saw how the light and the sand emanations started to dance together, in the knowing that the sand molecules from those books are the history of our different epochs and the wisdom of all that has walked on Earth, and how our physical form then returns to sand or Earth, whereas our galactic origins and the light frequencies from the books is what's coming in, and and coming together as a recreation of a new story, the original story of creation. And, you know, that just wants to move through around the merging of the different books. And each one of us hold a book, but each one of us have all our 74 trillion cells, each one of them a book. But ultimately all, it's one book. So each one of the cells and each one of the people, planets, also planets, animals, all is in their own book. But to remember there's only one book of creation, ultimately, and all serving one story, and a new story to be co-created.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And it was interesting talking about the mums and the babies. I was getting an image of the new children that are arriving on the planet and their parents and the adults, and how important it is to listen to the songs that the new children are singing as they arrive on the planet. Even the conversation that I had with my body worker, he was telling me about an 8-year-old, which is giving him the ancient history of our planet with all the tectonic plates in it. And, you know, he's all of 8 years old. And he goes, well, how do you know this? And he goes, I just know it. So there's a lot for us in listening to the new ones that are arriving without the filters and the programming, knowing who they are, where they come from, and what their earth walk is about at this time. Yeah. So any other questions or contributions to the field? That has been an enormous amount that has just come through in a very short space of time. Janavi?
Uh, yes, I feel a little shy to share, but my intuition is prompting me to share because it's my personal mystical experiences have been so resonant with what you shared at the beginning, Leanne. Like I'm as I'm witnessing myself in an accelerated part of this ascension, my identity is getting really challenged in interesting ways. Like just this last week, the mantis beings showed up in my reality, and the Lyrans have showed up in my reality. And in both cases, communicated ultimately to me that I am them, I was them, that and so this I'm already own a lot of my multidimensional nature, and to get this very new perspective that of to be expanding in my capacity to imagine myself as beyond human and very, very human at the same time. It's just been a really surprising turn in the ascension process, and and remembering who I really am.
Thank you for your sharing. We're exploring today a title or a subtitle for a book, and it was about the end of the masquerade, the removing of masks, and what it means to be our authentic self and have the courage to walk that in the world. It's more and more important, because when we can do that without minding what other people think, we give others permission to do so. And what does it mean to be authentically ourselves and to show up for deep and meaningful conversations? Or not at all. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Just checking in if there's any other contributions, because we're feeling quite full. Sorry?
Just one more. Thank you for that share that just occurred, because what I immediately saw that want to come in is the Lion King, and how that animation is also used as a means of the kingdom of the feline races. And there's something about that that wants to come in. Also, removing that royal line, the stories about it, and it feels like taking that crown off and actually ensuring that the sovereignty of the animal kingdom is also restored. It feels like, and then in both masculine and feminine aspects, being one expression, one consciousness.
It's interesting talking about the feline races, because they were very present when we walked through Egypt during our ancient future, like never before. They were very present, obviously, in our journey into Agatha and Inner Earth this week. And the unification of our masculine and feminine is a vital part of our embodiment and evolution. For without that unification, we actually can't land. That's our foundational pieces that enable us to fully land into our physical form. Or the Holy Trinity, the masculine, the feminine, and the inner child. Because without the inner child, it is not half as much fun as when she's here. So
Can I just bring in, sorry.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Yeah, I was also kind of holding back. But the unicorn, when you were mentioning about clearing the symbolism of the chained unicorn, the unicorn is the national symbol of Scotland, the country of Scotland. And that was placed as the national animal of Scotland to symbolize purity, innocence, and power. And just when you then mentioned the inner child, I'm thinking, okay, this is also then connected to that innocence and that purity. And there's something very symbolic about unchaining the unicorn to unchain that, unleash the purity, the innocence, and the power.
Absolutely, and thank you. Because, yes, the journey of our embodiment and evolution is a return to innocence, so that we can once again walk through each day with a beginner's mind, from a place of not knowing, yet without naivety. You know, we have experience now, but so how can we still show up each day? You know, I scurry to the edge of my bed, hang out my window, and say good morning to the ladies and my bees that are under my bed. And it's a delight.
I'm just wondering, is there anything else we need to do? Because my body is kind of swaying quite intensely. It could be just my nervous system, but it could also be that there's something else to do, or not to do, but to solve or something.
Yes, Claudia, there is something still sitting in the field that wishes addressing. Feels like it might have to do with Agatha, with Inner Earth. As today the gateways have just been reopened. It feels like there's a acknowledgement of gratitude that wants to be shared with everybody for gathering today to enable this, because it is not something that one person could do. So a thank you to everybody. And a good reason to top up your love tank of appreciation and self-love.
I just for a moment saw all of us standing in the center of Agatha, and as we were standing there to honor each one of us standing there in all our expressions. So simultaneously from our human expression up to our highest, most expanded cosmic expression, all being simultaneously present in this moment, knowing ourselves as both personally, planetary, galactically, and universally as one beingness, and that spoken, non-spoken, all that needed to flow through for the reorientation, reconfiguration, and remembrances to move into one centered place, and honoring each one of us and all the lineages that has brought each one of us into this moment. And simultaneously our connection to all animals and plants and crystals and minerals as one unified field that is starting to move through all of us. And the innocence and wonderment of how that possibility will look like when we open a new book, the true book, the original book, and start reading, remembering what we came here to bring, to create and co-create a new story, a true story, always sovereign, from the place of being free from what was, in the gnosis that through the truth of the resonance of each one of our beings, our soul song, to harmoniously sing together, to support Gaia as the benevolent steward that she is for our galaxy and universes, to do that together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wondering, Talia, if you're feeling, would you like to lead a sound before us to close today? Because it feels like there's a lot that came through, and it'd be really nice to support the integration if you're feeling up to it.
I don't have anything. Claudia, you could make a sound. Claudia, you could lead it.
Maybe together? My body is very intense. It's like I'm on a boat with, I don't know, like wind, like an orkan or something. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's not unusual, but it's quite intense. Yeah. Maybe we can all sound together?
Yeah, we're just going to ask Talia to lead a sound that we could all sound together. It'd be lovely.
I don't really lead a sound. It has to, yeah, so it doesn't, well, everyone can unmute if they want. It'll just be weird, the sound, that's all.
No, we're probably better. Should we just stay muted and then we'll all sound together?
Okay, I have to go, but yeah, just feel into a sound that feels right for you. In the multitude of notes that there are, it doesn't have to be the same note as me. So just find the note that rings true for you for this call, for this last hour, for everything that we've talked about. Just find a note that wants to come from that song. Maybe just let your body move a little bit as well. Feeling into the back of the body and the spine.
The guides were asking for unification of our dimensional levels, and adding sound to it helps to bring that all together. It like wakes up our mitochondria and encourages the cells of our body to start emitting light, which helps everything to kind of come into one solid space together.
So inviting everybody to inhale and exhale with sound, whatever sound wants to come through you now. No. Wow, thank you everybody for your presence and participation. And as we return fully intact onto the earth plane, I'd love to hand you over to Casey to bring closure for today's gathering.
Thank you, everyone. We'll give gratitude for the sounds of our bodies and giving sound and gratitude in the same breath, honoring back to our ancient lineages, the sound of our ancestors, the songs that we carry in our bones that connect us to the earth, that connect us to the stars and beyond. With so much gratitude for this circle today, we'll begin to unwind the consciousness field that we have created in this expansion. Like shooting stars dropping back down to the earth, each one anchoring back to our place where we stand connected to Gaia, emitting light as pillars, connected and rooted, anchored in fully, allowing expansion when we choose to, and allowing our grounded state to be our baseline that we come home to and is our constant. Giving gratitude for our bodies, allowing us to step forward on our earth path. When you are ready, we're going to anchor into our physical system a little bit more, feeling your feet connected to the ground. Begin wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, breathing deeply into your body, and when you're ready, choosing to come all the way back in by opening your eyes.
Thank you, Casey. And thank you, everybody who gathered and participated today. And remember, now we are walking towards and into the next phase of the birth canal through December solstice. So please take really good care of your physical bodies on the earth plane during this process. I myself have been called up to Kapawairua to do a 5-day water fast in preparation for the next part of the birth canal. So listen to the wisdom of your soul and the intelligence of your own bodies to see how you may best support your system in this process. And for those watching the replay, know that everyone you've met here today are practitioners and facilitators in your own right. So if you need support to unpack and make space for more of you to land, for you to land your light ship as we go through the next stage, then please reach out to whoever is most resonant for you and to you. Otherwise, I wish you all well on this journey deep in the birth canal and into the galactic alignment, the solstice. That will also be coinciding with another ninth wave on the wave main calendar, as well as our next new moon, which will be gathering in the morning time on the 22nd of December in Aotearoa, which is off 21st of December for many of you in the Americas and in Europe and Africa. Much love, everyone. Aroha nui from Aotearoa. Travel safely and see you soon.